Hi there, welcome. Today I'll be diving into section 5.5 of the first edition of the Standard for Change Management, published by the Association of Change Management Professionals. This is perfect if you're prepping for the Certified Change Management Professional exam, or if you just want to deepen your understanding of change management. So thanks for tuning in. Let's dive right into section 5.5, complete the change management effort. The processes in this group reinforce the work in the change management plans, determine the effectiveness of the work, monitor progress, and transition the change initiative to the business. These processes include measuring results and comparing to the expected benefits or business outcome. These processes also include the continuous improvement activities that come from the post-project analysis and lessons learned. The purpose of this process is to document the actions and resources needed to close the change. The close effort is the point at which there is a distinct transition to maintenance or sustaining activities. Completing the change management effort is composed of three sections: evaluating the outcome, collecting lessons learned and results for best practices, and then completing the transfer and release of the effort. The change management effort should include the following actions as required to evaluate the outcomes against objectives. Compare the outcomes of the change management effort against the change objectives set at the beginning of the change effort. Compare the outcomes of the change management effort against the project or program objectives. Document the outcome of the appropriate comparisons indicating that change efforts met objectives, failed to meet objectives, or exceeded objectives. And lastly, review outcomes with appropriate leaders and stakeholders. Here, your inputs include change objectives and goals, measurement and benefit realization strategy, and the sustainability plan. Your outputs include change objectives, analysis, outcomes, and next steps. The purpose of conducting lessons learned is to evaluate the success or adoption outcomes of the change management program, document what went well, record learnings, and share improvements for future change management programs with other change management practitioners or organizations. This step is conducted by the change management lead in concert with the project manager when possible. The final lessons learned evaluation uses the collective feedback of the team and stakeholders or customers to understand the outcome of the change management program and document improvements. It also provides a useful validation of any outstanding change management issues or activities. Undertaking an evaluation of lessons learned reinforces the commitment of the team to continue and sustaining the success of the change. It also enables two-way feedback regarding how the change has been embedded and future improvements for the change leads and organization. The activities of a lessons learned evaluation are to review change management activities and documents, identify and recognize positive outcomes and opportunities for improvement, develop a remediation plan for change management activities to address key issues, verify and document actions for future projects, and lastly, document lessons learned in a knowledge management database or common document storage location for sharing with other change management practitioners. Key individuals and groups affected can be identified for participation using the outputs delivered. The change management lead conducts an evaluation of lessons learned by bringing together team members, key stakeholders, the project sponsor, leadership, affected staff, customers, and other appropriate parties. The purpose of bringing key individuals together during this process is to review the change management objectives, review each phase and its key objective, Review the effectiveness of each change management workstream against its key objectives and defined outcomes. Review the effectiveness of the approach and ways of working. Verify that the change management goals of the initiative were reached and validate key change actions for future projects. Identify good outcomes and points for improvement, including any possible mitigation or improvement based on the current initiative. Review change management activities and documents for other best practices or future improvements. Determine which designs, strategies, and lessons learned will contribute to internal best practices going forward. And lastly, update the knowledge management database or common document storage location for sharing the lessons learned with other change management practitioners. The change management lead produces a document that presents lessons learned in a logical manner. The document should provide guidance and best practices for future change initiatives. The lessons learned evaluation document should consider questions such as, what are repeatable, successful activities? How can we ensure future projects go as well or better? What advice would you give to future teams? And lastly, what are some individual successes? Here, your inputs include the case for change, success criteria and measures, and the change management plan. Your outputs include lessons learned evaluation and remediation plan. Several activities need to be completed during this final step to formally close out the change. Completion, transfer, and release. Approval should be sought from stakeholders, steering committees, senior sponsors, or clients confirming the closure conditions have been met, including an evaluation of outcomes against objectives according to the agreed upon scope of change, a report of the lessons learned through the change, a document demonstrating the transfer of the change outcome to the appropriate stakeholder operational owners, and a plan to release any remaining change resources. The ownership of all change outcomes, including processes, technology, organizations, and other outcomes, must be transferred from change resources to stakeholder operational resources. This should be evidenced by written agreement of both parties. Additionally, transfer of future strategy plans must also occur if it's part of the outcomes. All change resources should be released and made available for other change efforts. Here, your inputs include change objectives and goals, measurement and benefit realization plan, lessons learned report, future strategy plan, agreement on ownership transfer, and resource release approval. Your outputs will include the final summary report and the change initiative completion. To recap, the 3 sections of the process group complete the change management effort include evaluate the outcome, collect lessons learned and results for best practices, and finally complete, transfer, and release the change. To recap, Section 5 of the Standard for Change Management include 5 subsections. First is the evaluate the impact and organizational readiness. Second is formulate the change management strategy. Third is develop the change management plan. Fourth, execute the change management plan. And lastly, what we just covered, complete the change management effort. In the next video, we'll dive into part 2 of the standard, the ACMP ethical standards.